Hey guys, it's Let's Be Real. Today we're going to be talking about friendships, so let's get into it.
Yeah, get into it.
So what are your thoughts on friendship? You, Brianna and Lee got the same face.
Let's see. I think me and Leah were on the phone last night, and last night was it was a weird thing, you know? Like, friendship is like, it's like a two-way thing. It can't be like a one-sided friendship because, you know, there's only one person trying to, you know, like, let's be best friends forever. And then the other friend's like, well, not even the friend, the other person's just like, no, we're not really into that stuff. It's not going to work. And I think that's with a lot of friendships nowadays.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Good thoughts. What else you got?
Next caller.
I think friendship, it's a tricky situation if you make it tricky, because there's like, I don't know how to explain it. So like, okay, for friendship, I feel like it's a two-person thing, like Rihanna said, and it also comes with honesty. So I feel like if you build the foundation of your friendship off of lies, it's honestly not going to go anywhere. Or like, if you can't even, like, in your friendship, if you can't be honest, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be honest, or you can't really express how you're feeling in that friendship, and it's not really a friendship. And that a lot of people just jump into friendships without knowing anything about each other, and it's usually like they jump into that relationship just because they share like one thing in common, and that's what's carrying the friendship. And I just feel like there's like sometimes if there's no room to grow in a friendship, like if people can't like accept each other, understand each other, or understand when misunderstandings happen, then y'all shouldn't be friends. But that's just what I think friendship is. It's like an honest thing, and how much you can share with each other and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree with Leah. I feel like friendships, like, if you like, obviously friendships are not perfect. Like, your friendship is never gonna be perfect, and you're gonna have arguments, you guys are gonna fight, you guys are not gonna get along. But for a friendship can grow when you guys can learn from your mistakes, and you guys could, like, you know, make up, admit to each other that, oh, I did wrong, I'm sorry, stuff like that, and you guys can just learn from it instead of just saying, okay, we're done, like, I don't want to be your friend anymore.
Yeah. Like how you recover from that conflict or whatever happened, you know? How you recover from things.
So is that how you build a friendship? By moving on past your mistakes or talking them out, or like what else you do to build and develop a friendship? So Leah, I'm asking this because Leah, you pointed out something where you said, you know, you might start a friendship with somebody because you have like maybe one or two things in common, and then that carries your friendship, but you need room to grow, which I think is a fantastic statement for a friendship. But what do you do? So how do you grow that friendship, and how do you grow like individually too as people?
I feel like you have to understand when to be selfish and selfless when you're in a friendship, and also like be able to learn from each other. Like, I might start a friendship off of a common thing, but I also, from that common thing, I start to learn more about that person, and they start to learn more about me, and then from then on we just continue to grow. But I also personally feel like a friendship should never feel like it's work. Like, it should never feel like it's like a weight. Yeah, it should never feel forced. And that if it feels forced, that's not going right, and you should like address it. But it should never feel forced. And you should never feel like you're forcing somebody to be your friend, or you feel like you have to keep them as a friend just because, you know. And sometimes a lot of that happens, and yeah. But I think you just have to get to know each other, and from then on, you start growing and see what you guys' differences are and similarities are. And from there, it just starts to go and go and go. But I also feel like you can't lose yourself, because I know a lot of people's love languages, it's like they express with words, or they express with like gestures and giving. And I feel like when people give and stuff, like when they give a lot of themselves, that sometimes end up forgetting themselves. I speak from experience. But yeah.
I feel like another thing about friendships is like choosing who your friends are. Like the crowd that you hang out with. Like you don't want a friend that's always negative. Everything is always about them. They never want to be there and help you. You want a friend that's so positive that you guys can both like vibe off of each other, and it's not just like a one, like Brianna said, it's not always like a one person thing.
Yeah. For sure. What do you do? So I often have a lot of students that will ask, like, or not ask, but get frustrated because they've been hanging out with a certain group of friends, and maybe through extracurricular activities or different classes, they've come to learn some things about somebody else that they didn't know. So they want to try to start hanging out with more people, but maybe like a really close friend gets really mad. It's like you can't hang out with them, or gets jealous, or whatever have you of that nature. That happens all the time. Again, I'm talking about middle school kiddos, but
But it happens when people get older too.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on like that? What happens when you have a really close friend that's like, oh, I'm gonna go hang out with this person, or maybe have you experienced the reverse?
I think it's like it's immaturity the majority of the time, because in the past, me and Leah did have a problem with one specific person. I mean, there was no drama on like me and Leah's side, but like it was with them, and it was like, huh? Like, what do you?
Like,
we're not like we're not mad about it. We're just like, okay, if you feel that way, that's you. That's how you feel. We're gonna respect that. But to like them, it's supposed to be like, oh my God, you don't do this, and you're not about that. You're not telling her anything. It's like, it's not my place to, if you feel that way. It's not my place to speak for you, because you can speak for yourself. And two, that's a lot of problem. That's the majority of the reason why people stop being friends, because so many people have opinions and they're constantly in someone's ear and they're gossiping about a million things when you're not even a part of the problem. You're not the situation. You're not even in it. And there shouldn't be no drama if you could have just sit there and talk things out. It's not that hard. It isn't that hard. But I was raised, my parents, my family members, they raised me, you don't solve drama with more drama. You talk it out like an adult. And some adults don't even do that either, because I have family members who act like children. So you want to sit and be like, talk it out like an adult, but you're acting like a kid, and you're making more drama and doing all this unnecessary stuff that just, they didn't have to be here in the first place. If it was between two people, it should have been between two people and not 30 people plus whoever. That's it.
Yes.
I feel that if you talk it out with your friend and they still feel like, like they don't want you involved with other people, I don't know, there's just something wrong with that friendship. Because if you guys have like a bond, and that like you're just being friends with other people, like just interactions, nothing like, oh, you're not my friend, or like if they can't accept that, then there's something wrong.
Yeah. Personally, I call that child's play. Now, let me explain why I call that child's play.
Yeah.
Because if you understood, if your friend, nobody should ever get jealous if their close friends wants to start making more friends. If anything, you should be happy that your friend is out there venturing out, especially if that close friend is a shy person and it's only been you two, and they're venturing out, they're trying to meet new people and try to be social and have a life. Why are you jealous? Why is there an issue? I call that jealousy and child's play, because it's not called for. There's no reason for that. And on top of that, that just goes to show how strong or weak a friendship is. If your guys' friendship, if you guys can't understand where you guys' friendship stands, then that's an issue. But why are you, like, the friendship is always going to be there. So why are you getting frustrated or you're angry if they want to venture out and have new friends? They're not forgetting about you. They're just meeting new people. It's a difference between if they're forgetting about you and acting different than meeting new people and still maintaining different friendships. Because number one, they're not obligated to be your friend. It's not by force. They don't have to be your friend. They get to choose who they want to be friends with. And number two, that's jealousy. Cut it out. Cut it out. And that right there, that's another sign. If your friend can't let you be friends with somebody else, that's a sign right there that is negativity. Cross it out. Cut it out.
So then how do you let go of a friend that's being too negative? Like, or do you let them go? Or do you guys have been talking a lot about like communication and talking to them, which I think is awesome. So then how do you do those things with somebody that you feel like, you know, was sending off negative vibes or something like that?
If you guys are close friends, be real with them. Tell them, like, you've been doing this, you've been acting like this. I'm not trying to always put the blame on you, but it's not, the world does not revolve around you. I can't be with you 24/7. Who says that both of us can't make new friends together? Like, you know, I just confront them and tell them, like, I can't live like this with you because we're not getting anywhere. I'm not getting anywhere from benefiting from that.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
I think honestly, you just gotta tell them. And if they can't take the criticism, the constructive criticism, or just the truth, then I don't know. But it's like if you are honest with them, you let them know, and they still don't change, and they don't add anything to your life. They don't bring joy. They just bring negativity. Then maybe it's just time to cut them off. It's obviously gonna be really hard. It's not as easy when you say it, but it's definitely worth it. If someone is negative constantly, that takes a toll on you because you are what you hang around. Like, you are. So if they're constantly negative, you're gonna start to constantly be negative, and you might even end up losing yourself. So why do you want to carry that around you? You know, it's gonna be hard, but just cut it out. Cut it off. Cut it out. If it's meant to be, it will be. It will be.
If the shoe fits, wear it.
Throw it away. Oh,
Heard.
okay.
Oh.
You're hitting on some really heavy stuff. Like, I feel like sometimes with friendships, people feel like, oh, we said we're best friends forever, so that means we have to be best friends forever, which is not always the case. People are sometimes in your lives for seasons, for reasons. It just depends on the situation. But I feel like if you can be mature and bold enough to have real conversations with the people that you feel like you're closest to, then like that's what fosters your relationship. Sometimes those sometimes those conversations aren't easy, like Leah said. But I do like that at the beginning of our conversation, Leah, you had said that friendship shouldn't be work, and then you changed it and you said friendship shouldn't be forced, because I do feel like there is a little bit of work that goes into
Definitely
a friendship. There's like you guys are talking about communication. That's work for some people. Like, that's not easy to like confront somebody about an issue or who they are. That takes a lot, because not everybody is always willing to receive, like, okay, you're calling me negative. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're saying something about who I am, and they might not always like it. But if they understand where your heart is coming from, you know, I hope they would receive those things well. I'm speaking from for a while, so definitely understand where you guys are coming from. I do have another question for you, though. You've talked about like negative friendships and people. Is that the same as toxic people?
Yeah. Yeah, basically. Kind of like, yeah, no, they're cousins. They're the same thing. Like, I mean, when I think of toxic people, there's like a plethora, using big words, of, you know, things that come to my mind. The number one, communication, that could be toxic as well. You know, you don't always have to speak on everything. You don't always have to, if you have your opinion about your friend, or you want to say something to your friend and you feel, you have a gut feeling that it's not right, you don't have to talk about it. You can keep it to yourself. Or, you know, feeling guilty about finding other friends. That, I mean, it's not toxic, but, you know, why do you have to feel guilty? Because you're growing as a person. You're you're meeting new people, and yeah, I mean, you're learning. That's it. It really is. You're learning to, to talk, to say hello, to, finally build a friendship. You're learning, and if you feel guilty about something that is really, you shouldn't feel good. You should be happy that you're finally, building a relationship with someone. You should be happy. And you feel guilty, that's kind of toxic, that, somebody's making you feel guilty about that. And I think, like communication, when you're talking about like negativity and you're trying to communicate with your friends, me and Leah, because I mean, we're like the closest, like Leah's practically my sister. And we talk about everything, any little problem we have, we talk about everything and anything. It's what we do. And I think that's like, I mean, I don't say I would talk a lot. I do talk a lot sometimes, but yeah. I mean, I'm not saying lie. I do talk a lot, but there's some stuff that shouldn't be said. And then there's a time and a place for everything. And negativity and being toxic is basically the same thing, because they both have a negative effect on you.
Mm-hmm.
My sister.
I think a toxic friend is a friend that doesn't want to see you grow. That's what it is. That's what it is. I think it's a friend who doesn't want to see you grow, and it's kind of like a roadblock in your life. I don't know, but like it's like, because a toxic friend, I feel like the friend that's like that doesn't want to see you grow is a toxic friend. But then again, it takes you such a long time to see that friend is toxic, just because sometimes people get used to it. They get used to it and they're like, oh, that's just how she is. That's just how she is. Or that's how he is. That's how he is. So it's just like, it's really hard to point out a toxic friend, or even like to pinpoint exactly how toxic somebody could be, because I would never understand the mind of someone who's toxic and like what their intentions were. But I feel like a toxic friend intentions are usually bad. Are usually bad intentions, but maybe they don't know it, but they are bad intentions. So I don't even like know. It's just a friend who doesn't want to see you grow, honestly. And that's like constantly because a toxic, I don't even know how to word it, because they're fake. That's what a toxic person is. It's a fake friend.
But like what is fake though? Because everyone throws that word around so loosely.
It's someone who is two-faced.
Like, oh, you're so fake, bro. Like, I mean, sometimes I'll say it as like a joke to my sister. I'm like, bro, you didn't tell me how I look today. You're fake. Like, stuff like that. But people who really, they're like, you're fake. What does it mean?
It's someone who's two-faced, and it's a liar who lives a double life. That's what I think someone is. That's what I call it. That's what I think a fake person is. A fake person to me is someone who can't even tell the truth. They run around the truth all the time. It's a liar. I think that's what a fake person is. Like, you act this way around me, but then you act this way around other people. Or you say this about me, you tell me positive things about myself when you're here, but when you leave, you're telling other people negative things about me. And you call yourself a friend of mine, Like, how are you be a friend of mine, but yet you gossip about me. But to my face, you say all the great things about me,
Mm-hmm.
I tell you a secret, and you're supposed to be my best friend. Come to find out, you're telling everyone else about like anything I tell you. So whatever I'm telling you, the whole world knows about. Or you act like the way you act around me. It's a different type of act that you act around your friends. Like, that's what I think a fake person is. Someone who lives a double life.
Thank you for clarifying that, because that word is always used. Like,
yeah,
you're fake. She's being fake. Like, what?
Like, child, all she did was drinking juice. Calm down. All she did was drinking juice.
Leah, you said something else that I wanted to ask a question about. You said that people often say like something with a toxic person, or just maybe with people in general. Oh, that's just the way he is, or that's just the way she is. Like, what do you do with it?
How you gonna ask me?
I'm not just asking you. I'm just saying that it came from you, but I'm asking because you guys have also been talking a lot about growth and growing and changing. If that's just the way somebody is, then how do they grow and change?
Yeah. my my birth giver is very guilty. She uses that a lot. And it's like everyone in my family like, well, you know how they are. Well, what do you mean I know how they are? So I'm supposed to change who I am because I'm supposed to feel bad about myself because the way that they choose to live their life, that's not my problem, baby. You're your own individual. Like, it's so, like, it irritates me so bad. Because people are like, well, you know how they are. They do whatever they want to do. Okay, they do whatever they want to do. But if I, want to be like, hey, I don't think what you're doing is nice. It made me feel sad. Wait, you know how they are? Okay, well, I told them how I feel. Can they at least be like, oh, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Maybe I'll learn from my mistakes. Like, I don't know. I don't know why people got to be so difficult sometimes.
The way she said it.
I feel like those people are the type of people who have negative and positive attributes just like everyone else, but their negative attributes come out the most. So when people, and I feel like they just get comfortable because people make that excuse up for them. That's just the way they are. That's just the way they are. Well, that's just because everyone is telling you that's just how you are. Because, like, I know I know how I act. If someone tells me that they don't like a certain thing about me, or like it makes them feel uncomfortable, I'm gonna stop doing it, or I will apologize and I'm gonna stop doing that to that specific person, especially because I know they don't like that. So why is it that when it comes to people who are that's just the way they are, they don't?
But
have
like how you said,
stuff.
you get comfortable. So what if you don't notice how you're acting? What if
Exactly.
because you're comfortable, you don't see the way other people are seeing? So you can't just be like, well, that's just how I am. You can't change because this is who you're you, I'm me. Like, I mean, I'm guilty of doing that too. I'm like, sometimes I don't see a problem. I don't know what's wrong with them. Like, I mean,
but you need someone to tell you that. You just
I mean, it's normal. But if it's like to the extent where like everyone just like it's like, ugh, like, then there's a huge problem. You need to, check yourself, put yourself in check for a little bit.
I don't know, child. It's so complicated.
Okay. How so is it complicated?
Because what I'm saying is like I totally agree with what everyone's saying, but then when it's time, you know what I'm saying? Like when it's time to execute it, it's so much harder. Cause that's just the way they are. That's just the way they are. That person that's just the way they are. That's their excuse. That's their excuse. That's the way I am. That's the way I am. So it's so hard to get it through their head that like, come on, I don't even know. It's just hard to like get past that, especially to someone who's so wrapped up in that. That's their main excuse. Like they don't want to grow, And those are the type of people who are stuck. Those type of people who don't grow. The people who are like, that's just the way they are. Okay. How long are you gonna be like that? You're still in your 6th grade body. Come on. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what it is, though. Like why do you still have that mentality? You should be growing. And that's that person who's stuck. It's not easy to grow, but if you're the type of person, you might be stuck.
You've taken the words like literally out of my mouth. So yeah. I definitely agree with you though. It's not easy. I feel like what you just said was literally what I was going to say. Like I feel like we stop people's growth by saying, oh, that's just the way they are, and let them continue to make that excuse. And sometimes I get it. Like we get to those moments where it's like, this is who I am, take it or leave it. I feel like that is a little different.
Definitely.
Oh, that's just the way they are, baby. Like it's all good. Like sometimes our personalities are, well, this is who I am. Like I'm bold, I'm fun, I'm, whatever. Like cool, like love who you are. But I feel like when you get to a point where people are constantly trying to help you develop and grow, and you're just like, oh, that's just the way they are. It's like, well, we're trying to help them develop or whatever. But I also think, I think you kind of said this too, it takes some like self-reflection. So if I'm looking at this from like a middle school standpoint, You have so many people always telling you what to do and how to be that it's hard to realize, okay, are they really trying to help me, or are they just trying to mold me into whatever they want me to be? You know what I mean? So it does take a moment to step back and go, okay, well, this is who I am. Now, am I okay with who I am, or are there some changes that I do need to make to be a better me, maybe building on what I've already learned and developed and started doing. But there has to be an internal part to what you're doing too, I think.
Yeah.
Danaya's been real quiet down there.
Right.
I know. I've just been listening. I don't even know what to say.
This. As we talked about, like, toxic friends, I think needy friends also filter into some of that toxicity. We're gonna speak on this because y'all are all over the place. But then speak on it. What's up with your needy friendships?
I feel like it's what we talked about earlier, just about how, like, the example of, like, going with other friends. It's like, I don't know, you always have to fit into them. You always have to give time into them. Like, you can never just, like, not necessarily, like, be by yourself, but, like, kind of just, like, focus on other things besides them. Like, it's always them. Like, but then it's, like, it's hard because sometimes you do, like, you can be like, oh, it's all about them. But when it's in their turn, it's never about you. It's always about something else. And it's, like, I don't know, or themselves, it's never like vice versa.
That two-way street.
Yeah.
Okay. What else?
You want to go first, or I want to go first?
You go first, baby.
All right. I speak from experience. Let's get into it. All right. Basically, for me, needy friends, it comes to an extent. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, like, of every friendship, you both need each other for certain things. You don't, not as, yes, you need each other. Like, you definitely need each other for certain things. But then there are those friends who are only needy. They don't care about, like Denaya said, they don't care about how you feel. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I had a friendship before. I'd be like, they always had a problem, and they always needed me to help them fix it. Constantly, I'm constantly helping them. I would say I had one problem. Suddenly, my problems don't matter anymore. Like, that's how it was for me when it was a needy friend. They constantly needed me, and when I needed them, they were nowhere to be found. They were in Antarctica, not in Arizona. They were somewhere else, because that's what I think. That ties into toxicity. They are sisters. That's what they are. They are bloodline related. That is what they are. They are aunts, uncles, and sisters. Everything. They tie together, because like, constantly needing someone but not wanting to be there for them when they need you is toxic. That is not a friendship. That's me being your therapist. Literally, that's what it was. That's what I felt like I was. Nothing. I'm not saying, and no one is ever just looking for something in return. But it would be nice. It would be nice if I was to get the help I needed to. Because why do I feel like I have to be here, but for you it's like you don't have to be here? Like I don't. It's just the neediness is like it's not a positive thing, and it's like not a great friendship to be around. And it's like, I don't even know. There's just so many thoughts in my head right now. It's just like, that's just disrespectful. Don't do that to somebody. Don't do that. Don't do that.
If you're not willing to listen to somebody else, like, if you're not willing to be like,
if you're not
willing, and Denaya said this too, if you're not willing to be on the other end to listen and offer some help and support, then don't just keep leaning on people. That's
right.
Not
Exactly.
But sometimes it's learned behavior too, because there's a lot of people, friends that I've had, except for Nivea, it's like, oh my god, like, I hate my mom so bad. But you're like the exact same thing. Why not just be best friends with you and your mom? Like, it's scary how if people are like, I'm not like my mom, like when they'll be your best friends, then you meet them and you're like, baby, this is learned behavior. And this is probably problems at home why you're so needy. Because there's probably not somebody at home that's like, okay, here, let me sit here, talk to me, what's wrong? So they need the validation from somebody else. And when you're dealing with somebody for so long, and when you find someone that sits there and asks you, how are you doing? How's your day today? What are you doing? It means the world, because you're always, how's your day today? What are you doing? Are you feeling okay? And it's constantly you, and you're always doing that, and you're always pushing that on somebody. I do that. You give, like Leah said earlier, you give so much that you lose yourself. You forget who you are, because you can calm down again.
I'm gonna mute Liam.
What happened? Right. Yeah, you lose yourself because you give so much, and you're always giving that person that constant validation of just being like, oh my gosh, I understand. Yeah, definitely. And then who you got to lean up on? Nobody. You sweat.
Definitely agree.
I feel like there's a difference from how we talked about it being vice versa, like it's always about them and like never want to help you. I feel like there's a difference between that and then like if your friend tells you like I don't know how to help you, but like I'm willing to help, like go through it with you or at least be there for you, like that's something that also, like Brianna said, means the world, because it's like wow, they're like really supportive and like I have someone that I could count on.
Yeah, I think that's huge. Not trying to make up some advice and just saying like, look, I don't know how to help you in this, but I will be here for you with whatever you need. I think that's major, especially again thinking about like, Let's Be Real starts with, we started in middle school. So it's like, I feel like a lot of times students try to be too much for somebody at one time. And it's like, oh yeah, no, I've gone through this, so let me help you out of this too, when you're still going through it. It's like, take your time to work on you, as well as like trying to be there for your friends, but understanding that you don't have to do everything for them. You don't have to be at every single thing for them. Be an ear sometimes is more than you can realize. And I feel like some of those conversations, it's like, tell them to reach out to an adult they're comfortable to. I know not everybody has parents that they can always go to, unfortunately. But hopefully there is some adult in their life somewhere where they can, like, hey, I'm struggling through this, or I'm going through this, instead of always leaning on a peer when you're that young. I feel like is a little bit hard. Because then that puts a lot of pressure on that other friend to try to figure out how to help you. Oftentimes, I feel like that's when young ladies and young men have come to me and said, hey, Ms. Chapman, like this person has told me some stuff and I don't know how to help them. I appreciate people like that. You asking a friend to say, hey, like don't tell anybody that I'm doing this. It's probably not the best way to start a conversation. And it's going to get your friends really, really worried about you. If you have really good friends, they're going to reach out to people regardless of what you say. Again, like my personal opinion and experiences with multiple kiddos in middle school where I've had to reach out to family and things for them, like, hey, this is going on. But I don't ever want a student to feel like they are pressured to carry the load for somebody else. Like, I have to help them through this. You know what I mean? So I appreciate y'all for real. I hope that if there is anybody like watching this or whatever, like again, don't feel pressured to have to figure out problems for your friends, but be there. Like what Denia just said, I feel like speaks volumes. Like people want to be supported. I know I do. So if I can call my friend, a lot of times my friend and I, we will sit on FaceTime and it will literally be like this. Yeah, so what you doing? And it's like we're kind of just doing our thing, but like having her there, like either on my phone or like somewhere, like knowing that she's like there, it's comforting. You know what I mean? So it's, you know, we want to be comforted, we want to be supported, but all those things, like how we started this conversation, it needs to be reciprocated. It's a two-way street. It's not just I'm gonna give and give and give you everything and not be able to take anything. Giving is amazing. I love to give. But sometimes there's a little bit of that needs to be brought back in to be able to grow and develop your relationships and friendships. I think it's important. But you ladies are fantastic. I think we have heard a lot about friendships and what you guys have been through and experienced in your personal friendships, and thoughts and ideas and tips on how people can foster their friendships, even some of those ideas via being quarantined and kind of, even though some things have lifted, but still staying safe. I know Leah mentioned before on our last video, like sending positive quotes to her friends and things like that. So keep doing those things.
And I haven't stopped.
It hasn't. It's
any last thoughts or advice before we sign out? You guys have done amazing.
Okay. All right, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys come back to see our next video. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we will keep posting more videos. See you guys next time.
Bye.
I didn't hit the camera.